Welcome to Techcentric Planet, where we offer a glimpse to the future of humanity through the lens of technology.
We've sought out innovators and founders who are interested in providing solutions to some of our most fundamental human-centric problems with a view to help our planet.
I'm Mary Beth Hosking, and my co-host, the riveting Martin Parr.
On this episode, we have Mahtab Ameri, who has developed an innovation looking at the neuroscience of AI. Welcome, Mahtab.
Hi, Mary Beth and Mark, and thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here today.
It's great to have you. Really great to chat with you. I'm so excited to talk about this. This is so relevant to to our society and to what we're doing to help society and the planet. So tell me about your innovation. How will it help society and the planet?
Well, the neuroscience of AI, rewiring how we adopt the future. When we talk about AI, we usually focus on the technology, the algorithm, the data, the automation. But we rarely talk about the human brain that has to live and work with it. That's really my work. The neuroscience of AI is about. It's a new way of looking at AI adoption, one that combines neuroscience, behavioral design, and organizational change to help people adapt without fear. Because every time we see something new comes up, especially something as big and hype as AI, our brain doesn't just adapt, it protects us. And that protection often starts with fear. Fear of losing control, fear of not keeping up, fear of becoming obsolete. In my own professional experience, over the working across various industries, I've seen the same pattern again and again. The biggest challenge in adopting new technology isn't technical, and I'm sure, Mary Beth, you agree with this, is mainly human. And as a neuroscientist, I would even say it's neurological, because our brain's alarm system, the amygdala, that part that keeps us safe, sees disruption as danger. And that's where my innovation comes in. It's a neuroscience-based model for AI adoption, a human blueprint that helps organizations understand and guide the psychology of change. So people that can move from resistance to readiness with confidence. And it works in 4 simple steps. Just to give you a high overview of how it works, in step 1, which is mainly the neuroadoption map, we start by understanding why people react the way they do when something new like AI shows up. It's not that people hate change. The reality is that their brain's safety system says, hold on, is this safe? The neuroadoption map helps teams to see what's happening beneath the surface, fear, uncertainty, curiosity, and how to guide people from threat to trust. Then it's the cognitive adaptability index. So in simple words, it's once we understand those reactions, we ask, how ready are people to adapt? That's what the adaptability index measures. It's like mindset mirror, showing where curiosity is high, where confidence needs building, and how teams can strengthen their readiness to work with AI, not against it. The third step is my favorite one, is the fear to curiosity framework. This is really the heart of it. The moment where the shift happens, it's about learning how to turn fear into curiosity. One of the simplest and most powerful neuroscience hacks is understanding what actually happens in the brain when we feel fear or excitement. Here's the interesting part. They both, fear and excitement, activate the same area of the brain. And that's the amygdala. It's our emotional alarm system. So the difference between fear and excitement isn't where it happens. It's how we frame it. If you frame that activation as fear, our body releases cortisol, which is the stress hormone. But if we frame it as excitement or curiosity, it releases dopamine, the brain reward chemical, which boosts motivation, focus, and learning. So just by changing the mental label, we can literally shift the chemistry of our brain from protection to possibility. This is so empowering, right?
Yeah. Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah.
And
So-
in a change world, I mean, this is, and it's not revolutionary. However, I know that we don't think about this from change, and I think that there's more to this model than just AI adoption, Mahtab.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that this is actually this is something that all change leaders could actually sort of grab onto. Sorry, I interrupted that final point, and I want to hear the final point.
No, absolutely, you're right. But there is another fascinating fact that is the small amount of fear, not the overwhelming kind that makes us freeze, but just a touch of uncertainty actually primes the brain to learn faster. When that happens, the hippocampus, which is the brain's memory hub, becomes more active. And the neurocortex, which helps us problem solve and think creatively, lights up. That's why a little discomfort can be a good thing. It puts the brain in a learning mode and opens the door to new ideas. So inside this framework, we teach people that fear isn't the enemy, it's energy. And if you know these basic neuroscience facts, you realize you have the power to change your own brain chemistry just by reframing your state of mind. And that's not just science, and I call it self-leadership. And that's one of the most empowering things people can learn in terms of change.
Self-leadership. I love that. There's a LinkedIn post in there, Martin. Self-leadership. We talk a lot about leadership, don't we? We talk about all those things that a good leader is this and that, but we talk about self-awareness. But this is really taking that self-awareness piece and really reframing it to self-leadership, how you can actually trick your brain. So I kind of get a feeling that there was a reason why you developed this. So why did you decide to develop this? Especially, I mean, obviously AI is everywhere, and as a neuroscientist, you're looking at ways of helping humanity. So why did you decide to develop this framework?
Well, it's been a combination of different reasons. To me, AI is just a tool. There is not much difference between the digital transformation. But this time, the fear of AI is much louder because it sounds like a mirror of our own intelligence and with all the hypes around it. And so, I've seen this fear of becoming obsolete, the fear of what it means for me, not only in workplaces, but also around my loved ones, my social circles. So then this is adding a new lens for the adopting and to change. And it's more of empowering people about knowing about their biology and how their brain is capable to learn and adapt.
Yeah, I understand that. So we're seeing a lot of changes globally. We're seeing a lot of changes in the market, as in the work spaces, with a lot of, certainly in Australia, a lot of redundancies and changes and shifts happening. And a lot of organisations saying we're just right-sizing from when we went a little crazy over COVID. But it feels more than that. But I don't think you can blame COVID, and I don't think you can blame AI for that. But it is creating a sense of mass panic and fear. And I love this model because it actually enables us to take control of that and go, no, hang on a minute. Let's reframe that. Let's look at this from that lens of curiosity. It's okay to feel a little bit uncomfortable. It's like, oh yeah, the seat's a bit uncomfortable, it's a bit scratchy, but if it helps me to learn faster, and I love that. I do. I really do. It's a great idea.
It is. It's absolutely fascinating. Yeah.
And all of these neuroscience facts are the basic ones. It's been out there for many years is just making the adoption more human. We talk about the digital transformation, but we don't really talk about the human transformation, the human side of it. So this neuroscience is like adding a missing piece of the transformation puzzle, and it's really empowering.
We always talk about humans in the loop, and a lot in the AI space. We have to keep humans in the loop.
Yeah.
Keep humans in there because AI isn't that smart. We have to actually train it and do this, but we have to have that human piece. But I do wonder if it's humanity in the loop, or it's just the human functioning in the loop is what we're talking about. And I suspect it's the latter. But Martin, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is so fascinating. It goes right back to the fundamentals of technology. So I think if you're, I don't know whether you're both familiar with the phrase the Luddites, but back in the Industrial Revolution, they, of course, all these folks smashing up the looms and things, and they thought that this was terrible. This kind of getting a machine. You could have someone toiling away for, I don't know, 20 hours a day on some, job there where they were just about existing, and then you could have a loom. And people thought a loom was a bad idea. It's extraordinary, isn't it? Now, when we look at it through the current lens of, well, why wouldn't you have some, machine just, zipping up and down and making your textiles? But yeah, thinking about your innovation, Mahtab, what hurdles did you face when you were developing this, and what would you have done differently?
Honestly, when we talk about adoption, the hardest part has never been the technology, right? It was trust. Yeah. For most people, work isn't just something they do. It's part of who they are. So when the AI shows up and it feels like it might threaten that identity, resistance happens much faster, much quicker. It doesn't feel like losing a task. It can feel like losing a piece of yourself. That's why the emotion side of change matters so much. There is a kind of quiet grief that comes with that realization.
Yeah, realization.
Yes, that is.
You are multilingual, so knowing that English is not your first language, it's totally fine. Realization,
Yes. Thank you. And that skill that you spent years mastering might not hold the same value anymore. Yeah. And that grief is real. If we don't acknowledge it, the fear just gets louder. But here's the opportunity to help people process that loss and reconnect with what can be replaced: empathy, imagination, creativity, and ethical judgment. That's where the fear to curiosity framework plays a big role. It helps people see fear not as weakness, but as the brain's way of saying, hey, pay attention, something's changing. And that's when they learn to reframe that fear into curiosity. They start to rebuild trust, not just in the technology, but in themselves.
I love that. I love that. You have to write a book on this, because I think people will buy that book and they'll want that framework. Or you need to be going into organizations and saying, this is the framework you need to be using. Everyone's talking about AI adoption, but I think you're onto something there, Mahtab. I really do.
Thank you.
So naysayers, we all hear about the naysayers. So how did the naysayers help you push on when things got a bit tough as you were designing this innovation?
Well, honestly, it's been the opposite of criticism. It's been curiosity. Every time I share the neuroscience of AI and explain what actually happens in the brain during change, something clicks. People suddenly realize, it's not just me. My brain is doing its job. It's like handling the missing piece of the transformation puzzle that I just mentioned earlier. We spent years talking about transformation, but it feels like refreshing, to add the human side of it. And once people see that connection, the science behind their own reactions, it feels empowering, not intimidating anymore. At first, sure, some people think it's another stay positive message, but then they realize it's not about switching of fear. is about understanding it. We don't tell people what to feel. We give them the key to work with their own brain. And when they open that door, that's where curiosity and real change begins.
See, I love that. Yeah, I totally get that. I think there are times when you feel stuck, that I'm stuck, and then it's that, how do I reframe this? How can I reframe this so that I can get unstuck? And sometimes it's just actually understanding the neuroscience.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is, absolutely. What a fantastic way to move forward. So, Marta, what would you like to see happen with your innovation now?
Well, I would love to see these frameworks become part of how we all navigate change, not just in workplaces, but in schools, communities, and leadership. Because AI isn't the last disruption we'll face. If people can learn to understand their brain's reaction to change, to work with it instead of against it, they'll be ready for whatever comes next, not just to adopt AI responsibly, but to adopt fearlessly to every wave of transformation ahead.
And I think you're onto something here. I think you really are onto something.
Yeah, thank you.
I love this. Because I'm a change leader, and Martin knows I wrote Not Another Digital Transformation, and it talks all about the human side.
Yeah.
But this really, really strips it bare and says, and what I love is what you're actually saying, it's okay. It's okay to be afraid, but don't get so caught up that you freeze and do nothing. This is what we're really saying. And I think that now is so important. So very important. And I think organizations will be, after this podcast, I am hoping that organizations are reaching out to you saying, come and help train our people, help us understand, help our leadership understand, so that they can use these frameworks to take their people on this transition, because it is a massive transition that all workplaces are making at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would love to empower people and organizations, of course.
So for all our guests, and we are at that point, the point, that bit we were talking about, fear. I hope you've reframed the question. So for all our guests, we ask the same final question, and we would love your thoughts. So if you found yourself awake in front of aliens bent on destroying the planet, how would you convince them not to in 25 words or less? Marta.
Yes, this is my favorite question of all. Well, and here is my answer. Going through the lens of neuroscience of AI, of course. So, our planet holds the one thing even AI can't replicate: human imagination and empathy. Destroy us, and you will erase the possibility of wonder.
Oh, we love that. You'll erase the possibility of wonder. I think that is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, well done.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's all about being curious, right? And that's the core part of the neuroscience of AI. And I hope that with this answer, they wouldn't destroy us. And we'll stay here to discover more and more.
Absolutely. I mean, what a great thing in encouraging alien life into self-leadership. I think that is just a perfect thing. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for joining us on Techcentric Planet. I'd like to thank Mahtab and my co-host Mary Beth Hosking.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Marta. Join us for our next episode, where we tease out another amazing innovation designed to help humanity. And remember, if you've thought of a problem, chances are someone out there is developing a solution for it. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.